Welcome to this week's Maryland's Missing and the Murdered. Maryland's Missing and the Murdered is a weekly YouTube channel that covers the topic of missing and murdered individuals from the state of Maryland. This week, I am covering 2 carjacking cases that ended in murder. The first case was so shocking that it changed carjacking laws in the United States, making the crime a federal felony. In 1992, Dr. Pam Basu, a chemist, was living in Savage, Maryland, with her husband, Biswaneth, and their 2-year-old daughter, Serena. On September 8, 1992, the family was preparing for Serena's first day of preschool. Biswaneth Basu got his video camera ready to document every part of Serena's big day. As he was videoing Pam and Serena get into their BMW, video showed 2 men across the street. As Pam was leaving the neighborhood, she stopped at a stop sign. 2 men approached her car with one on each side. As the man on the driver's side started punching Pam in the face, the other man entered the passenger side, pushing Pam out of the car. The man who was punching Pam got her out of the car, and he jumped into the driver's seat. Witnesses saw Pam land on her butt outside the car. She started screaming, "My baby, my baby." As the man slammed the door, Pam's arm was caught in the seatbelt. The men started driving off, with Pam attempting to run alongside the car. As the car accelerated, Pam's body tumbled repeatedly. Witnesses stated that they saw the men punch her repeatedly while she was attempting to hang on to the car. As the car sped past a woman on the crosswalk, she testified at trial that she saw hair and blood blowing at her feet. As the men continued speeding down the road, a blood trail followed the car as Pam Basu was still hanging onto the car, caught by the seatbelt. The car stopped, and the man on the passenger side got out, took the car seat out with Serena still in it, and left the baby in the middle of the road. Luckily, a driver saw this and took Serena from out of the road. Serena was reunited with her dad and was without any injuries. The car then sped off again and finally dislodged Pam Basu from the car by driving into a barbed wire fence. Her lifeless body was left in the middle of the road, and the BMW sped off. As the 2 sped off, they started to throw stuff from the car: briefcase, purse, and even the man in the passenger seat threw his clothes out as well, due to blood being on them. These items were thrown over the course of several miles. The carjackers drove to an Eldersburg car wash in an attempt to get the blood off the entire driver's side. The car wash attendant even commented to the carjackers if they got into a fight or something. The attendant then watched them wash the car down completely. During this time, all police were on the lookout for the BMW. When they noticed that the police were on their tail, they crashed into another fence, and they were taken into custody. Taken into custody was Rodney Solomon, 27 years old, and Bernard Miller, 16 years old. During questioning, Solomon stated that he was there, but Miller did it all. Evidence showed that Solomon was driving the BMW. Miller stated in questioning that they were just looking for a car after theirs ran out of gas. They were indicted for murder, robbery, and kidnapping. At trial, the medical examiner testified to the horrific nature of Pam Basu's injuries. The medical examiner testified that Pam Basu died from severe blood loss. She was found naked from her waist down, while her shirt was badly torn. She was badly mutilated from head to toe. She had broken bones, multiple cuts, and she was partially decapitated with the top part of her head missing. Her legs had flesh and muscle torn away. On April 23, 1993, Bernard Miller was found guilty, and on June 29, 1993, he was sentenced to life in prison. On August 13, 1993, Rodney Solomon was found guilty, and on August 19, 1993, he was sentenced to life in prison as well. The second case is that of Dr. Yvette Beakes, a 26-year-old pharmacist from Glen, Burnie, Maryland. On August 12, 2001, Yvette Beakes was leaving Pickles Pub at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Little did she know she was being targeted by 4 individuals as someone looking wealthy due to her new Acura. As Yvette reached her apartment, a van rammed her car from behind. Yvette got out of her car to see if her car had any damage, and when she did, a person got out of the van and held her at gunpoint. Yvette Beakes was forced into the van while another individual got into her Acura. A witness who saw the abduction called 911. However, the dispatcher did not relay the information to officers in the area. The van with the 3 suspects and Yvette Beakes then traveled around to several ATMs, withdrawing money from her accounts. The suspect in the Acura dumped the car, but made a phone call with Miss Beakes' cell phone to the other suspects, inquiring on their whereabouts. After the 3 suspects in the van got money from the ATMs, they drove to southwest Baltimore to a wooded area where the ringleader shot and killed Yvette Beakes. Police were able to identify the suspects by the phone call made on Miss Beakes' cell phone. They traced the caller to a minor named Brian Wilson. The other suspects were Brian McMillan and Larry Walker, both minors, and the ringleader, an adult by the name of Jamal Barnes. Investigation revealed that Jamal Barnes needed money to cover his cashing of a stolen insurance check. Investigation also revealed that Larry Walker was the one who kidnapped Yvette by gunpoint, and Brian Wilson stole the Acura. All 4 men were convicted of murder and kidnapping. Jamal Barnes was sentenced to life in prison. Brian McMillan and Larry Walker were sentenced to 45 years. Brian Wilson was sentenced to 35 years. In 2006, Anne Arundel County settled a lawsuit filed by Yvette Beakes' family due to the 911 operator failing to act on the 911 call. That operator was subsequently fired. Thank you for joining me this week. If there is a Maryland's missing or murdered case that you would like to see on this channel, please email me at marylandsmissing@gmail.com. Music is by Silent Vengeance. Sources will be listed in the outro. I will see you again next week. Be kind to one another. You never know what will happen tomorrow.